Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Ramon, and we're gonna go ahead and see if we can turn this empty backyard into something a little nicer. I'd like to have a waterfall with a somewhat large pond, so let's take a look at what we can do here. Something like this would be nice, or something like that would work as well. Either way, what I do know is I want to have a bottom drain going up to a mechanical filter attached to a biofilter. Um, so the first thing I did was I planted a bunch of fruit trees around and then kind of laid out a garden hose to have an idea of what I wanted to do. Later on I kind of spray painted it down and was pretty much ready to start tackling it, so I went and got some material, a pallet of 80-pound bags of cement and a whole pallet of the bricks. So anyway, with those cylinder blocks, it was way easier to lay it out and have a better idea of what I was going to be looking at for the final product. And this is kind of what we ended up doing. And it looks a little bit like the Bean in Chicago, if you guys ever been there. But anyway, this is what we decided on. So the first step was to get all the rocks out of the way so that I can dig the footing in along the edge of the boundary. That looked like it was okay until I got into this first issue on either side, which I'll point out later where exactly, but there was some kind of, I don't know, foundation or something, but it went down probably about 4 feet and I still hadn't reached the bottom, so I figured I'd just alter the pond shape as opposed to going through it. Here you can see what I ended up doing after I dug the footings out and ripped these forms out of a 4x8 sheet, by the way, 1/8 inch. It's melamine on one side, but it was flexible enough to bend no problem without breaking. And I used that laser and this level here that has a rule on there to level everything out. And our nemesis here was the rain. This is an ongoing issue we've been having. I shouldn't say an issue, but it's just not normal, I guess, for the Arizona area to have so much rain. And this was one of the first big ones of many. You can see the next day it still hadn't really drained down that well, so I ended up attaching a little pump to it to pump it out and get it dried out so that I could finish setting the forms up and then get the cement poured. So you can see on the left and the right, that indentation right there, that's where I had to change it. And there was one on the right side, but it ended up being right in the path. You can see the little rebar sticking up. Right in the path of where we wanted it, so we didn't have to change that side at all. So I finished getting the other forms up and got them leveled off with doing the system I showed you with the laser. And these are going a foot deep. And there's the head of security, Little Z. He'll be turning a year this month, so in March. But anyway, I was pretty much ready to start pouring the cement, but here with the sun that we get, I know right now it looks overcast or whatever, but the next day it was super sunny and it was like that. I mean, it's normally like that all the time. So I set these poles up. They're 2 3/4 inch diameter, schedule 40. I did weld on a cap on the top and filled them with cement and got these stood up. And you can see they're all leveled off, and I'm waiting for the cement to dry so that I can throw some of those shade flags, or however you want to call them, to give me a little bit of protection from the sun, because I was going to be doing all the cement, well, everything I'm doing by myself. So I needed to have a little extra time to make sure the cement didn't harden up on me since I'm doing it by myself. And it ended up taking all of a day. So I'm glad I ended up doing this. And you can see there, I got all the shade cloths kind of stretched out and it shaded everything fine. And I plan to keep it like that, or maybe add to it a little bit for when it's finished to keep the fish from getting too much sun and warming the water up too much. But anyway, I figured that's good enough for now to let me go ahead and get the cement put in. And there you can see our bird feeder there. It attracts a lot of birds and they sing for us. So there you can see there's shade in all directions. I was gonna get ready to get a fresh start in the morning and get this footing poured. Like I said, it's a foot deep. They're at a minimum of 8 inches wide up to a foot in some areas, and I know it's not perfect, but I'll show you what I plan to do later on to fix that issue, or not make it an issue anyway. So if I didn't have that cement mixer, by the way, there's no way I'd have been able to do this by myself. Without that thing, it just would have been too much work. As it was, like I said, it took me, like 9 hours, I think, to do it. But the first day, and got it all done in one day, and I was happy about that. Came out good enough for what I needed it for. Though that shade definitely helped a lot, because that sun is no joke. So here I covered it up with a tarp because, again, the rain was going to be coming the next day, and I didn't want it to saturate everything and make it tough. I figured, kind of like in baseball, they throw them tarps out there, and when the rain's done, you can get right back to it. So it did puddle up a little bit. It wasn't an issue because when I pulled the tarp off, it all kind of drained off to one side, or I made it drain off to one side. So it wasn't too big a deal, but just getting a lot of rain. And here you can see I'm with the auger going 3 feet deep, and I just kept using that technique to kind of loosen all the dirt and get it up out of the way easier, instead of trying to chop into it or use a lot of force. Again, I'm doing all this by myself, so I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, and that auger certainly did do the trick. Without that, it just would have been too difficult. So here again, little Z, he turns 1 month here, March 23rd. He'll have a birthday, and he ended up feeling sorry for me, and he started helping me out. He starts helping me dig. So besides security, he's definitely good for that. So here you can see him digging a little bit, but this is the first video of a series of the pond videos. This doesn't put you up to date right now. I'm kind of working on a second one as we talk, and it's taken a while, only because, again, I'm doing everything on my own, and I still have plenty of other projects that I do. So go ahead and subscribe and get that notification bell so that you don't miss the next ones coming up. They won't be coming out super fast, but at least you'll see steady improvement. And right now I'm pretty much at this point done digging everything out and getting it ready for the bottom drain. So stay tuned for that video, and until then, thanks, and I'll see you next time.